close your eyes and growl inside of your mind and become the puma. Anchoring. Practice a favorite confident generating exercise. While doing so, listen to the piece of music that makes you feel confident, or an image. Imagine an image that makes you feel good about yourself. Well, when you want to recreate a confident feeling internally, hear the music or see that image. Technique 5. Circle of confidence. The next technique is advanced from the anchoring called the circle of confidence. Circle of confidence. Instead of anchoring something on location to your body or internal stimuli, this technique anchors confidence to a spot on the ground. Into doing so, you will physically step into an unstoppable confidence whenever you need it. There have been times in your past when you were confident in the future. When you were confident in the future, you will be confident again. The key is to be able to summon that feeling at will. This technique allows you to evoke a state of confidence wherever and whenever you want. To form your circle of confidence, imagine a circular location on the floor. Before you step into that circle, notice its exact dimensions. Picture it either with colors or transparent, and as if you will. When you physically step into that circle, you will move back in time to a moment which you had complete confidence. Pick an experience of an ultimate confidence. While you're standing in your circle, fully relive the instance in confidence. See what you saw at that time. Hear what you hear. Allow yourself to feel unstoppably confident of that experience. Inside the circle, feeling confident, adjust your body language. Match your confident state. Keep the confident state as you walk around outside the circle. Now, if you have enough confidence to meet your outcome, you are done with this exercise. If you need more, go back into that circle and relive the difference. Equally powerful, confident experience. Continue stacking up this confidence until you have all that you need, regardless of wherever you are. You can use a circle of confidence as just a confidence technique or a confidence builder to instantly gain more confidence, exaggerating your strongness, your powerful physiology as you train your body how to stand and move. And pretty soon, you'll find yourself naturally standing confident as a habit. Circle of confidence. Imagine a circle on the ground, remembering the situation in which you felt confident. Relive the experience as you step into the circle. Relive that experience of confidence as you step into that circle and adopt that confident posture. Step outside the circle and continue to walk and act confidently. Technique 6. Mirror affirmations. Typically, when people do affirmations, they repeat them endlessly in hopes that they will not work. Doing so is somewhat effective, but it can be made such more effective when someone simply has a modification to it. This technique can supercharge the efficiency of the affirmations. Instead of using statements like beginning with I, you will use statements beginning with you. These situations are more powerful because they allow you to consciously mind to tell you, your conscious mind, specifically what you want and how to behave. Get in front of a mirror and stand in front of the mirror with a confident physiology and project your intention for these affirmations to change your life. The larger the mirror, the bigger it is, the better, because you can see more of yourself. With your shoulders back, your head held high, and your stomach tucked in, look yourself squarely in the eye and say, with the following affirmations, you are completely powerful. You are unstoppably confident. You will become more and more confident each and every day, and nothing can stop you. You can go for what you want and get it. Repeat these affirmations to yourself in the mirror until you totally feel them in your body. Perhaps you could see yourself a bit differently when you do it, as you will already notice behaving differently and more confident. Or maybe you'll hear the inner voice speaking forcefully with absolute confidence from within. Do this daily as part of your confidence building regimen, and I can guarantee you that you'll have an unstoppable confidence in a little bit of time. Mirror affirmations. As you stand in front of the mirror, adopt a confident physiology, shoulders back, head up, stomach tucked in. Deliver affirmations to yourself in the mirror using you instead of I. You. Technique 7. Future success now. I have future success now, and if you were to taste the future success, how would it feel? What would it look like to achieve your goals now? Wouldn't it feel tremendously more motivating to go for it right now? This future success now technique does exactly that. It brings all the future feelings of success into your heart, mind, and soul right now. You can experience such an overwhelming sense of success, and you'll surrender to your passion and go for it. Any fear that might have had still in the present, but you desire for success, dominating all other emotions, you'll feel the need to take action and fulfill your goals. In this exercise, the outcome you will want is to set to increase your confidence. This means saying, either aloud or in your mind, I'm doing this exercise to increase my confidence and feel more passion, which will naturally cause me to go after my goals and make my dreams more reality. Are you already Are you ready to feel your future success? Close your eyes. Picture your mental movie screen. See yourself at the point from which you're about to reach that pinnacle of your success. While you're watching yourself, make sure that you see yourself in color, big, bright, close up in a picture in HD, crisp and clear right in front of your face. Fill your mind with stereo surrounded sounds. Turn up the volume all the way. Just before you reach your pivotal point from where all your success yours, stop the movie you're watching and ask yourself some questions to clarify exactly what you're going after for this success. Find out and clarify why exactly you're going after this success. What's important into getting this pleasure? What's important about that? Ultimately, what does having this success do for you? Now restart the movie and witness yourself achieving your goal and getting all the massive success and pleasure that you deserve that comes with it. Right as you see yourself on the mental screening fulfilling your goals and experiencing the wonderful feeling of victory, jump into your on-screen body. Now, through your own eyes, as if you could see there, through your own eyes, as if you are there now, because your mind, you are. Hear the sounds of success. Feel the success like in every fiber of your being. As the moment comes to a climax, I want you to take all these wonderful feelings and wrap them up. Take those unlimited feelings that you have and jump out of that mental screen back into your physical body, allowing all those magnificent feelings to ebb and flow. You've just smelt the sweet scent of your future success. You've tasted the victory. You've realized the glory of yours to be for the taking. It's up to you to take action now and claim what's rightfully yours. As you complete this exercise, write down 5 immediate actions that you will take to bring you one step closer to achieving that success that you deserve. A future success now. Number 1. Only your mental screen, play a movie. On your mental screen, play a movie of you succeeding massively. Just at the point you are about to get the peak of your success in a movie, temporarily hit pause. Ask yourself, what's important about the success? And what will having the success do? Jump into the movie as you begin playing it again and soak up the unlimited massive success that you deserve. When the movie is done, take all these wonderful feelings back with you as you open your eyes. Write down 5 immediate actions that you will take that you will begin to get you one step closer to achieving your goals. Technique 8. Put your life in perspective right now. Consider whatever appears overwhelming to you now. By the end of this exercise, you'll think about it completely different and with much more confidence about what you're going to do. Picture a line representing your lifetime. The past is off to the left and the present is in the center and your future is off to the right. Now, place whatever is bothering you on this timeline and visualize it as a small dot in your mind. Take a step back so you can see a larger portion of your entire timeline instead of just the present. Notice how this puts you in a minor new instance into a different perspective. Now mentally step back even further and notice all of your past and all of your future at once. And recognize just how small and insignificant this dot represents your current problem. When you keep things in perspective, it's really difficult to waste valuable time and energy on trivial things. The trouble begins when people do not keep their big picture in sight and magnify some issues to be larger than it really is. So put your life in perspective by, number 1, visualize your life as a timeline. Picture whatever is overwhelming you as a point on that timeline, and then mentally step back to see that dot in perspective as something tiny and small. Chapter 9. Avoid the future that you don't want. Well, as we saw earlier, people are motivated either by moving towards pleasure or by moving away from pain. Well, if you were bunny rabbits, it would be equivalent as us as moving towards carrots or away from people's boots. The next technique will work best for people who run away from the boots, so to speak, because it amplifies the pain of not going after your dreams to the point from where it'll seem easier just to do it. To do this exercise, visualize a timeline from Technique 8. Close your eyes and imagine floating above the timeline, drifting forward far into the future. Continue floating forward until you get to the point from where you are older and most of your opportunities have passed you by. And as you get the point, you'll see yourself in a mental movie screen walking around feeling miserable. Doing this, you might realize that you are looking at a person who has lived a life unfulfilled. Turn into the sounds coming of the older person who had so much potential, yet somehow failed to take action and live his or her dreams. Just the feeling as it disappoints rises to an extreme where your future self appears to realize that his or her life has not been invested wisely. Jump right into that older person's body and see the experience and what it's like. Feel how awful it is to lead a life unfulfilled. It is really quite tragic, isn't it? When you fully experience that feeling of deep regret, all the pain, disappointment, frustration that you will if you don't go after your dreams, immediately take action. Jump back into your physical body, and if you don't take action now, then go after your dreams, then that's how you will feel. If you don't take action now to go after your dreams, then that's how you will feel when you get older. Now, since you've experienced the pain that will happen if you don't go after your dreams right now, you are aware of how much you are motivated, and you are to avoid the feeling that you cannot live your dreams. Now, if you hesitate in your future, call that a horrible feeling from the experience that allows you to propel you to take action. To break out of this negative state of mind induced by the exercises, use one of the previous visualization techniques to see a wonderful future that you will have when you use your confidence resources to get the future that you want. So again, avoid the future you don't want. Visualize a timeline with Technique 8. See yourself further down the timeline with most of your opportunities passed over. Imagine your response physically, audibly, emotionally as an unfulfilled life. Come back to your present self. Summon those feelings of disappointment and rage when you need to get motivated and get busy. Technique 10. Build an enriched past. Oftentimes, a lack of confidence when facing a new experience stems from not having done it before. In order to get good on doing something, usually you have to do it poorly at first. And when this happens, some people equate that poor performance with failure or becoming anxious, and understand that we don't have to do everything perfectly from the start. Having said that, though, how much more confident would you feel if you knew that you had done something many times before? I'm willing to bet you that you would be tremendously more confident. This next technique builds memories from the past that feature you succeeding wildly at whatever you are about to do. You may or may not have heard of false memory syndrome. False memory syndrome occurs when someone gets something else to create memories of events that didn't really happen. However, the false memories are so vividly imagined that they seem so real to the person to whom they are implanted, and consequently the person acts as if they are. In situations like this, the memories of usually disempowered, what if we were to create false memories in ourselves having massive success that we really are about to do for the first time? How much confidence will we have when we do this? Build into the past as many successes as you can find necessary, and you will have done this by visualizing success, which you've done, and imagine happening to the past as you create your past successes. Really intensify the experience so that you can catch the feeling and confidence that you've needed. When I was starting out in my public speaking, I had no experience at all, but since I needed to rapidly gain experience to be credible, I went back into my past and created an entire series of memories. Even though I consciously knew that they were all false memories, they were all so vividly imagined that my unconscious mind knew no difference, and which consequently allowed me to behave as if I've already been speaking a lot. And I imagined that I had an entire history of making wonderful speeches, motivating audiences, and receiving standing ovations for my abilities. To go one step further, I imagined people taking my message to heart, acting on it, transforming their lives. By creating all these memories, by the time I got up to actually speak for the first time, I was delightfully simple. I radiated confidence from the beginning, and anyone can use these techniques to better himself or herself. It's just a matter of knowing the techniques and applying them in your life. To build an enriched past, number 1, see yourself in your past on your mental movie screen, massively succeeding at what you actually are about to do for the first time. Crank up the visual and sound qualities to make the new memory really intense. Do this 10 times to create 10 different positions, memories of your successes. Technique 11. The technique goes back into a past of implants, new memories into similar fashions to exercise the technique 10. Only this time, instead of giving yourself a history that will be rewriting your history, go back to the time from when you really blew it. Perhaps something you were expected to accomplish was not smashing success that you intended it to be. Close your eyes and watch yourself on a mental movie screen as you just about to make the mistake or screw things up. Just prior to the instant in the time from which you're about to start deviating from the success path, start making mistakes or stop the movie. We stop the movie now because we don't want to rehearse the negative incident, but we only want to reinforce it in a way of behaving. While the movie is stopped, think about how the situation ideally would have turned out if you could give it an ending. Well, restart the movie and replace the old ending with an ideal ending. See, hear, and feel something succeeding in the way you deserve. After you've watched the movie from the start, finish the third-person point of view. Just jump into the on-screen body and run the movie from start to finish with a new ideal ending. As you see, hear, and feel the massive success, that's yours. Now, Run the entire movie from start to finish 10 times. This will recode the past incident as a success in your mind. Furthermore, rehearsing and reinforcing success teaches your mind to create success in the future. As you look back on your past, you'll notice things are different. The way you look at all the failures are actually bridges to the success. Your past has been enriched now. You can enrich your past, and you'll discover yourself moving through the world more resourcefully. One thing about the technique is that its versatility. You can correct any part of your past in whatever way you want. Correct past mistakes. The technique of correcting past mistakes, number 1. Watch yourself in the past on your mental movie screen. Right up the point before you made the mistake, and at that point, stop the movie and think about what the ideal ending would be, and then finish the movie with the ideal solution, you behaving resourcefully and getting your outcome. Run the movie from start to finish with the new ending, feeling what it's like to get your outcome. Now jump into your on-screen body and run the movie on the success 10 times and lock it in. Technique 12, the domino effect. As you recall from earlier in this book, beliefs come in 2 different forms, casualty and meaning. Again, as you recall from earlier in this book, beliefs come from 2 different forms, casualty and meaning. X causes Y, or X means Y. Again, X causes Y, or X means Y. Causes or it means. Understanding how beliefs are structured means that we can consciously choose those beliefs that are empowering to us. For example, if someone believes public speaking means it's time to be fearful and lack confidence, then obviously this belief will be made manifest in that person's behavior. As he or she gets nervous before making a speech, it's necessary to understand how beliefs are formed. To use this next technique, think of something that is so far outside of your comfort zone that you would be absolutely amazed, surprised, and delighted if you actually did it. In thinking about this, keep in mind that it should be something that is feasible, something you could immediately do, and should make this decision to take action. Become aware of what specifically you would see, hear, and feel when doing it. Now, just ponder what sort of confidence it would take for you to do this to do this thing that you are so afraid of. Once you've thought of something completely outside of your comfort zone, you will naturally realize that if you were actually to do this, you could do anything you wanted in the world. After all, if you could step out that far out of your comfort zone, you can continue to expand even further outside of it. Can't you? To make this exercise really work, lock in a belief that doing whatever it is that you were thinking of right now, that you are afraid to do so, means that you could do anything. I chose to skydive as my activity for this exercise. I can lead a pretty conservative lifestyle, keeping risks a bare minimum, and so I had never done anything so daring before. Some risks, I soon learned, are worth it. To gain more confidence in myself, I built in this belief that as I jump out of an airplane and hurtle to the ground in rapid speeds, I'll be stepping far outside of my comfort zone, and by proving to myself that I could do things I wasn't quite sure of that I could do, means that I could do anything in the world. For me, skydiving demonstrates that anything is possible for me. When you do this in your activity, you'll realize that anything is possible for you. Your example can be whatever you want it to be, and as long as it is a big stretch outside of your comfort zone, it could be marching into your boss's office and asking for a raise, speaking publicly, running a marathon. The most important part is that when making it happen, you will realize that anything is possible for you when you set your mind to it. When you've decided on what you're going to do, take immediate action to ensure that that's what will happen. Get things in motion so that you can, taking immediate action to starting your excellent habits to develop. Taking immediate action is an excellent habit to develop. Taking immediate action. I take immediate action. Take immediate action. The most successful, unstoppably confident people take immediate action, and accordingly to manifest their dreams sooner. To anyone who is very logical or critically oriented, the belief that since I can skydive, I can do anything is not very logical at all, yet beholding the belief that you can do anything will enable you to go for much, much more than those who have limited themselves with logic. You may not be able to do anything, but you'll definitely go past your old limits. And remember, what seems like a limit is very often just a limit in belief, not in reality. So when you choose that your beliefs choose them because they are useful and empowering, not based on so-called logic. Choose your beliefs because they will help you live your dreams. The domino effect is, number 1, choose an activity that is far outside of your comfort zone, and number 2, realize that In doing this activity, it makes it possible to do anything that you choose to do. Follow through with this activity as quickly as possible and hold on to the new belief that you can make anything happen. Technique 13. Technique 13, borrow confidence. A great way to gain confidence is to model yourself after someone else who has already had a lot of confidence. Anyone who has an absolute belief in himself or herself will make a good model for you. One way to supercharge your results is using the techniques to repeat it, using several different people as your models of unstoppable confidence. Once you've identified the person who embodies confidence to you, get to know as thoroughly as possible this person as it moves through the world. To do this, spend as much time as you can with that person and talk about his or her opinions of confidence, life, taking action. If your model of confidence is not accessible to you, perhaps you can get to know the person and voraciously by purchasing his or her books or CDs or home study courses, or by attending a seminar. If it's a rock star that you could go to his or her concert. If it's a star athlete, perhaps you can attend his or her sporting event. The idea here is to expose your mind to this person so much as possible that you get a better grasp on how to model your beliefs, attitudes, and values. The more effectively you can model his or her the better you can model his or her confidence. Set a strong outcome for this exercise, such as, I want a confidence like, and then name the model of the confidence. For these reasons, and then list the reasons. By the time you reach the point, you have already familiarized yourself with the model of confidence, and you have a good grasp on his or her perceptions of the world, the self, and what he or she does. Close your eyes and envision your model of confidence behaving in an unstoppably confident way in a movie, in your mental screen. Pay attention to how the person speaks, moves, gestures, and walks. Become aware of how this person interacts with others. Imagine his or hers internal self-talk. And notice anything else that you can about this person. Make the movie big, bright, and close, HD, digital, crisp. Turn the sound up all the way that you can and resonate it inside of you. Next, step into the movie. As you are stepping into the confidence model's body, take on this person's entire being as though you're seeing through their eyes and your confidence models through their eyes. Hear his or her ears and feel what it's like to completely immerse yourself and be unstoppably confident as this person. Now, as you are inside this confident model's shoes, physically do all you can to be like this person. Gestute, speaking, move, use the facial expressions your model does. Continue doing this until you fully understand what it feels like to make your models unstoppably confident. To make your models unstoppable, to have your model as unstoppable and confident. If it helps, imagine yourself as this person in different contexts. When you fully have that feeling down, you'll see yourself stepping out of your own person's body and back into yours. And as you float back into your own body, take with you that unstoppably confident feeling that you just created. Integrate that feeling into your body, your mind, and your identity. By having your model's confidence once, you can have it anytime anytime you want, simply by just doing the exercise. Remember to borrow confidence. Number 1. Find someone who's confident that you'd like to have for yourself. Who's confident you'd like to have for yourself. Expose yourself to that model of confidence as much as possible. Watch your role model behaving confidently as your mental movie screen. Notice how this person moves through the world, how he or she speaks and gestures. Make the imagine really compelling by turning into a visual, auditory, sensory quality. Step into the movie and become that model. Gesture, speak, and move through the world as this person does with their unstoppable confidence. Then step into a model in 5 different contexts. When you feel that you have to handle this person's confidence, a handle of their confidence, step back into the model's step outside of the model's body and take his or her confidence back with you. Technique 14. Schedule your dreams. Successful people plan their work and then they work their plan. This technique will help you decide on what you want and focus your energy towards pursuing it. Goals are dreams with deadlines. For that reason, this technique gives you some specific deadlines for achieving your dreams. What I want you to do is imagine yourself 5 years in the future, living your ideal lifestyle with what sort of job would you have? What have you accomplished? Where do you live? What is your lifestyle like? Focus on the answers to these questions, and once you have the answers, build what you call an expanded resume. A typical resume charts for what you have accomplished and the skills that you possess now. An expanded resume encompasses your entire life, your family life, your career, your social circle, your spirituality, your finances, and so on. Creative and expanded resumes, what will be true for you in 5 years. Reread this resume once a week and more often. if you can invest the time, and in 5 years in time, you will have accomplished much, if not all, of what you put down. A similar technique for channeling your energy into a direction is to construct a future magazine cover with yourself on it. The magazine could either be real or fictitious, but it should show us succeeding in whatever area of your life that you choose. When I did this, I used a computer presentation software to import my photograph and design into a magazine cover, and inserted catchy headlines and prescribed what I would achieve. When this cover was finished, I printed it out and proudly displayed it on my desk. From time to time, I would glance over at it and find it there, and I automatically became more motivated to take action and move towards my goals. Schedule your dreams. Number 1, scheduling your dreams, the expanded resume. Number 1, imagine where you would like to be in 5 years from now. Write down the details, family, work, leisure time, friends, and so on, and review this expanded resume at least once a week. Your future magazine cover. Well, create a real imagining magazine cover for yourself succeeding in some area of your life, and use catchy headlines, images, and describe what you want to achieve. Review your magazine cover periodically to keep you motivated in reaching your goals. Technique 15. Swish into confidence. The next technique is called the swish technique because in it you redirect your brain as rapidly as a basketball makes the swish sound when it flies through the net. Our mind is trained to go into a certain direction. Sometimes if we have not consciously directed our minds, we tend to gravitate towards less than resourceful behaviors, such as shyness. The technique redirects the brain in the effect telling it not shy, confident. If you act shy, you do it out of a pattern that you've either consciously or unconsciously set up for yourself, and there are triggers that you cue to your brain that the shyness pattern. What we're going to do is take those same triggers, reframe, and retrain your mind so that when you spur towards a confidence, you'll spur towards confidence instead. Think of the times when you act shy. Decide on the initial cue that lets you know that it's time to get nervous and tentative. And for some people, arriving in a party full of strangers is looking at an unfamiliar face and a cue to begin acting shy. For others, seeing an attractive member of the opposite sex sitting down nearby might set them off. Find out what your cue is. People do not randomly become shy. There's always a cue that precedes it. Now that you've discovered the cue that has led you to shyness in the past, put yourself into the picture of experience from a first-person perspective. Practice making the picture of what you see smaller, darker, and farther away. Take the normal picture of the cue image and make it small, dark, and really so far away in a way that in the time it takes for you to say out loud, swish. Do this unless you feel that you could take the picture of your shyness cue and make it disappear in an instant. Any issues, make it smaller, farther away. Do it before you could say the word swish. Following that picture, an image of your ideal self, don't jump into the image yet. Picture yourself on how you would want to behave instead of how you currently do. See those strong, confident gestures, facial expressions, and postures, and make sure that when you think about your ideal self, you feel really motivated to be that way. If you don't feel a strong sense of motivation, then adjust your image of your ideal self until you do. Make this picture small, dark, and far away at first, and then practice making this picture really big, bright, close up, rapidly as you can, as fast as you can say swish. Practice the exercise until you can do it easily. Now, what we're going to do is redirect the mind so that whatever it's experiencing, the cue image it will automatically flash to your ideal self and therefore draw you into being that person. When you've done this successfully, you will see the trigger that used to make you shy and immediately experience an unconscious shift in confidence. Close your eyes and see what cue image in the forefront of your mind. See it big, bright, close up, HD, crystal clear. Just like you would if you were experiencing it for real. In the lower right corner of your vision, see your ideal self image smaller, darker, farther away. Make the swish sound and simultaneously flip the two pictures so that you cue the image becomes small, dark, far away. An ideal self image becomes really big, bright, and close. Remember to make the swish sound as you do this exercise because it will help you unconsciously move the pictures around. Swish. Pause for a moment, open your eyes, and then reset your picture so that you see the cue image big and close in your confident self in lower right corner. Then you can make the swish sound and it toggles the screens. So you transpose them in the same way you did previously. To continue, repeat this pursuing, resetting, and swishing of pictures until simply looking at the cue image automatically triggers your brain to gravitate towards the ideal self-image. That's how you know that you've been successful in retraining your mind. Swish into confidence. Number 1, identify the cue that's triggering your shyness. Number 2, Practice making the image of that cue smaller, darker, farther away until you can do it in the time it takes for you to say swish. Now picture the idealized self smaller, darker, and smaller away. Now picture your idolized self smaller, darker, and farther away. Practice making that idolized self bright and close up again in the time it takes you to say swish. Finally, practice transposing the two pictures as if they sound of the word swish in your brain makes the shiniest trigger from small and far away while bringing your idolized self to the forefront. Now, however you're feeling, screen it, swish. Now you're in the other image. Technique 16. Disassociate, add resources, act differently. Sometimes people feel overwhelmed by situations because they're too deeply invested in them. If someone's too close to a situation, they may be difficult for him or her to reason logically about it. For example, if you have to make a major decision and there's an overriding emotional component, that emotional component may skew your judgment. This technique helps you stand back and survey the bigger picture, then in order to make the best decision for yourself. What is the smartest decision that you can make in any given second, moment, nanosecond? The smartest decision you can ever make. What will it do? What you will do in this technique is to observe yourself in a third-person point of view. You will step outside of your body and look over at yourself, making a decision. Picture yourself on the mental movie screen, but don't jump into it yet. Just look at your on-body screen. You are a detached observer. Pretend that you are the narrator, and you refer to yourself into this as third person by repeatedly using your name. Well, as Randy currently walks over here, and then Randy went this way, and think through the decisions-making processes out loud and detach the frame of mind. As you narrate your thinking process regarding to the decision, you should be sure you have confident physiology and tonality. This will help you make a firm commitment to the decision from which you are ultimately going to arrive at. As a result, your decisions will be more rational, emotionally, literally giving yourself some distance from the situation. Another way to perform this technique is with the confidence resource triangle, described next. The confidence resource triangle. It's a confidence resource triangle. The main difference is that the triangle uses physical locations to represent the different states. The confidence resource triangle has 3 legs. Stuck state, location, a disassociated observer location, and a resource location. Again, they have 3 legs. A stuck state location, a disassociated observer location, and a resource location. The stuck state is the state where a person will experience indecision and need a resource. The disassociated location is where a person can stand back and objectively look at the situation from a third-person point of view. The resource location represents a resource that will get a person unstuck from his or her indecisive state. Find 3 different spots on the floor and label one S for stuck, one D for disassociated, and one R for resource. First step onto the S location. Close your eyes if it helps you. See, hear, and feel the element of the context where you need more confidence. Just when you're getting a taste of it, step outside of the location. Name 3 different things in the room to break your state, thus get you out of that state of stuck. Second, step onto the D location. And look at the same situation as you did in S location, but do it with a third-person perspective. Now, how different is it that you can perceive things more objectively? Think of confident resources that will help you conquer this stuck state. Third, step onto the R location, and as you do this physical step, you will mentally step into a resource by completely reliving a past time when you were confident. See when you saw, heard, and hear, and felt what it's like. Remember what it's like and crank it up. Crank up that confidence level. Now, with overwhelming confidence at your disposal, step back into what used to be the stuck state. How easily, naturally, you do not get unstuck now. With all this confidence oozing from every fiber of your being, if for some reason your stuck state did not change for you as much as you would like, do this exercise again, continuing stacking up confident resources and bringing them to the stuck state until things change. Do it again, the exercise over and over until you continue stacking up confident resources and bringing them to the stuck state until things change. Disassociate, add resources, and act differently. Number 1, envision yourself in a stuck location. Number 2, step out of the stuck location and name 3 things in the room to balance yourself. Number 3, step into the disassociated location and watch how you can resolve the situation in a confident manner by looking at it third party, away from yourself. Number 4, step into the resource location and think back to a time in your life when you were exuding confidence. Technique 17, matching and mirroring. When two people have rapport with each other, an interesting thing occurs. Their body language becomes similar. They begin to match each other. How can we use this to our benefit? We can consciously match someone else's body language in order to increase our perceived similarity to the person. You can use matching to increase intimacy or almost in any human interaction. This technique is called matching and mirroring because your goal is to become a mirror and image the partner in a conversation. When I first learned this technique, I was confused with it as mimicking. Mimicking is something that younger children do to annoy each other's parents, or monkeys do to play with visitors at the zoo. We are not mimicking anything else. Instead, we are increasing our similarity to another person by mirroring that person's body language, which will help engender a greater understanding of his or her points of view. The way you match and mirror someone is to adopt the same body posture that that person has. When the person moves, you must move and hit with him or her. Be sure to allow a certain lag time so that matching does not creep into the person's consciousness awareness. And the idea is to gain rapport at an unconscious level without attracting or notice that you're doing it. The intended effect is that the other person will feel that you are similar to him or her without even being quite sure of why. That the rapport deepnesses, as the rapport deepens, you can trim the lag time and until pretty soon you're moving exactly with the person. Rapport is like a dance. One person leads, the other one follows. Up until this point, you've been involved in the dance and only been following. After sufficient rapport has been established, you have the opportunity to lead the dance of rapport. Begin by moving your body into a new position and seeing if the other person follows you. Now, when the person does follow you, you will know that you are now the one in charge. And if you move and the person does not allow you to go back to the matching, mirroring and build up the rapport further. When you lead non-verbally, you can match and mirror people in other ways. In addition to matching body language, you can match a person's breathing too. This person will serve the unconscious synchronize. This practice will serve to unconsciously synchronize. You and another person can facilitate rapport. To match someone's breathing, watch his or her shoulders. Most people's shoulders rise when inhaling a breath and fall when exhaling. People exhale as they are talking. So remember to match someone's breathing as the person speaks to more similarly to you and how another person, even in barely perceptible behavior, such as breathing. The deeper the rapport you will create. As we're matching someone's breathing, you can match hand gestures as well. When another person's talking, notice how he or she gestures. No matter whether one is wild, demonstrates gestures, or slight, precise hands using some gestures. I don't care if you feel awkward or it's outside of your comfort zone. You are matching the other person in order to better understand and communicate with him or her. Facial expressions are another great way to match and mirror someone by developing greater rapport. Someone frowning is raising of an eyebrow or another facial expressions can be matched. You can even match someone's muscle tone. If a person's uptight and stressed out, you can tighten yourself up too. If the person's loose and relaxed, you can do the same way to be with him or her in the moment. Suppose that you match someone who is tense. You could develop a great rapport with the person and begin to lead the dance rapport gradually by relaxing. If the rapport is sufficient, the person will follow you and relax as well. The level of perceived similarity between you and another person is directly proportional to the rapport that you will experience. Again, the level of perceived similarity between you and another person is directly proportional to the rapport that you will experience. The greater level of rapport you experience, the more freedom you will have to relax and be your own confident self around that person. A good rule of communication is to remember that nobody is going to get a message across for you. So do whatever it takes to make sure that you are heard. Nonverbal matching somehow can help facilitate this and increase the chances that your message is received the way you intended it. It's not up to the other person to make sure that he or she gets it. As an excellent communicator, it's solely up to you to share your message loud and clear. Matching and mirroring number 1. With a friend, practice mirroring his or her movements. First, adopt the same body postures that the friend has, and next, match your friend's gestures. Third, mirror the friend's facial expressions, and when you are aware of the rapport that has been deepened, try making your own gestures and facial expressions and see if your friend matches your movements. Technique 18. Verbal matching. You now understand how to create rapport by non-verbally matching someone, and of course, you can further deepen rapport by matching someone verbally as well. Typically, verbal behaviors can match our tone, voice, volume, voice, rate of speech, inflection, for example, questioning and manding. The word usage, if someone speaks rapidly, for example, you shouldn't speak much more slowly. You should keep up with that person's speech rate. If someone speaks slowly, you don't want to be a motor mouth when talking with that person. You want to just speak near to the same rate that person is speaking. Listen to people's key words, the words they say over and over again, like they call them a trigger or hot buttons, words from which you hear these words. Use them right back and notice how the rapport skyrockets. My trigger words sprinkled throughout this book. If we were to meet and you spoke with me using some more prevalent words in this book, you would notice how delighted I became, and more rapport would skyrocket. Some of my trigger words are unstoppable, or fun, or powerful, or delight, or awesome. Here's an example of how to match someone's trigger words. The conversation between an artist and her friend. The artist may say, "I like my art because it's expressive and freeing. I get to be myself, and the paint landscapes there are breathtaking and wide open. It allows me to express myself in a way that I didn't get to before. Painting is liberating because I can see the beauty of things around me and express it to others." The friend can match the numerous trigger words by saying, "Yeah, it makes sense. I understand where you're coming from. It seems like it would be liberating to really lose or express yourself to others, to be able to see a true beauty in things, to point where it takes and how it takes your breath away. That would be really awesome. I can see why you like painting so much." The result of this communication will be that rapport is deepened because of the trigger words. The painter then discusses her passions of painting, elicits someone's passion, listen to the trigger words, and then use those words when you're speaking with that person. You will be amazed how much quickly you develop an excellent rapport. Verbal matching. To increase rapport, practice verbal matching with a friend. First, practice your friend's tone and volume of voice. Next, match the rate of speech. Finally, pick up on your friend's trigger words and use them as you respond to what your friend was saying. Technique 19, parroting. Parrots are interesting birds because they repeat certain words or sentences that are used frequently enough. To act like a parrot, you can increase rapport. With someone speaking in pauses, repeat the last few words of the sentence right back to that person. The person's word has special significance for him or her, or they wouldn't have even chose to say it that way. Be like a parrot and repeat the exact words back. You'll discover how easily this causes a greater sense of rapport. Parroting validates the person's point of view, and the point of view validated, and they enjoy being listened to, which is why parroting works so well. It proves you were listening. As a friend, Fred, for example, Fred and Carolyn. Fred: "How you doing today?" Carolyn: "Excellent. I have a flat tire on the way to work, but I made it here all right." "Well, you made it here all right. How has your workday been since that?" "Well, it's been pretty hectic around my office. I've got a team meeting this afternoon at 4. "You got a team meeting at 4? Uh-huh. "Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. The product should be unveiled here really soon." "Oh, really soon?" "Yeah, next week is our scheduled launch. We've been working really hard to get this project going." "Wow, you must have really been working hard to get this project going." The parroting is delivered as a mere echo of what the person previously said, with the key points echoed back to the person. The speaker, upon hearing his or her own words parroted back, will either say yes or agree non-verbally, perhaps with a nod. When people are in agreement, they generally are in excellent states of rapport. Avoid active listening, which is when you change around what someone said by putting it into your own words and then spewing it back to that person by changing the words. You change the meaning and distort the true message that the person wanted to convey. People like when they get their message across, and parroting their exact words back confirms that you did receive them. So in parroting with a friend, begin conversations and practice repeating the last phrase entirely, word for word, that your friend had said back to him or her. Make sure not to rephrase it in your own words. To rephrase someone's point in your own words is considered rude. They want to hear that their point was given across. Technique 20, nodding, leaning forward, and prodding. People are masterful communicators. Nods are the listening to others. They're doing so, they invite others to relax and share whatever's on their mind. The next time you're talking with someone, continually nod to open the person up for sharing. To practice this, get a partner and have a conversation. Say as little as possible, nod as often as you can, and this is what effective communicators do. And by nodding effectively, your communication and your confidence and interpersonal skills will dramatically increase. By nodding often, disinterested communicators lean back and slouch. Excellent communicators lean forward and show that they are hanging on to every word that you said. In this exercise, lean forward, and as you nod along, as you're talking with your partner, prod him or her on by throwing in following phrases at the appropriate pauses. Again, when talking with your partner, prod him or her by throwing in the following phrases at an appropriate pause. Go on. Oh, go on. I understand. Oh, I understand. I understand. What makes sense? Oh, that makes sense. Oh, that makes sense. Tell me more. Oh, well, tell me more. I see what you're saying. Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, I hear you. Yeah, I hear you. Well, that feels right to me. Well, that feels right to me. You'll soon discover how effectively this keeps people talking. I've kept people talking for 30 minutes at a time without me saying anything, just by nodding, leaning forward, and interjecting these phrases at the appropriate times. Nodding, leaning forward, and prodding. Ask a friend to begin telling you a story. Practice nodding and prodding at appropriate points in the story and see how long you can keep your friend talking. Technique 21. Ask open-ended questions. When you realize that you can talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime, you will have more confidence in yourself than ever before. The secret to being a great conversationalist is knowing what to ask questions that show genuine interest in the other person. Quite simply, ask open-ended questions whenever possible. Open-ended questions require more than a simple yes or no response. The person answering has to elaborate and describe what he or she is thinking. Closed questions do not further develop conversations, since they are usually followed by short answers. If someone repeatedly responds to you with one-word answers, there's not much work with developing the conversation. An example of closed questions and responses: Brad, how you doing today? Fine. An example of open-ended question response is: if anything were possible, what would you most like to do right now? Well, I have a passion of sailing. I would love to be sailing in my boat around the world with my friends. I've been sailing before and I love it. I can't wait to go again. So you can see how asking an open-ended question and a closed question elicits entirely different responses. Now, as you ask these open-ended questions, be sure to listen intently to what the person is saying. While you are listening to someone, use the other methods taught to you in this book to develop an even greater rapport. You can nod and lean forward, parrot the person's words back to him or her, use nonverbal matching and mirroring, and using trigger words. Doing all this at once, you might be cumbersome at first, but therefore practicing each skill individually, and then when you've mastered them all, begin to combine them for an even better rapport with others. Ask open-ended questions. Engage a friend in a conversation. Ask open-ended questions and see how long that you can keep the conversation going. Chapter 14, Your Confident Future. Whatever we expect with confidence becomes our self-fulfilling prophecy. Brian Tracy. This chapter contains a few final pieces of advice to get you on your way, and once you've started, make sure you don't stop. Build your community. As your confidence grows, others will notice the change within you and perhaps behave differently than before, and that's normal. They are used to you acting in a particular way, and then when you behave differently, they may not have a pattern for interacting with you anymore. They will adapt to your newfound confidence and develop an affinity for it. When I first began breaking out of my shell, I was concerned about how others would treat me, and much to my delight, they seemed to enjoy being around me a little bit more thoroughly as a direct result of my increased confidence. Family and friends. Enlist the support of your family and friends to help you on your confidence journey. When they are behaving in a confident manner, they can compliment you and reinforce your behavior. Tell them that you would appreciate their support as you do these confident exercises. Similarly, if they catch you falling into an old shy habit, they can politely point it out for you, which means that you can immediately correct that behavior. Some people may have a negative reflection to your enhanced confidence and zest for life, and they are not genuine friends. Your genuine friends want the best for you, and anything less means that you're not a true friend. And if someone tries to criticize your increased confidence, view this as an opportunity to test your confidence and let that criticism bounce right off you without even making an impact. Learning unstoppable confidence with others is, in addition, I recommend meeting regularly with others, like-minded people, to teach unstoppable confidence to others, to increase your own confidence. Let this book serve as a guide. It will help your group does confident exercises with each other. Getting together with other people can be an incredible, powerful way to ratchet up your confidence. You can support each other on the journey to a greater success. And when you get together with confidence, you can talk about situations that when you were confident and other situations where you need more confidence. Others may have insights that haven't occurred to you yet, and you might be able to help them likewise. Meet with people on a regular basis. Once a month maybe would be great. Harness the power of synergy. That is the concept of the whole greater than the sum of parts. In the case of this confidence group, the entire group's intelligence exceeds that of each individual's intelligence summed up. The whole group would become each member would become as intelligent as all of the intelligence summed up. Take action now. Your power lies in the present. That means you need not cast off procrastination and do it now, whatever it may be. I cannot emphasize this point strongly enough. Dismiss. It can wait until later mentality right now. The sooner you adopt the do it now attitude, the do it now attitude, the sooner you will create a better relationship, more fun in life to fulfill your dreams. The reason doing this as soon as you can possibly can is easier than procrastinating is because of the psychic weight of the things that are put off. If you typically procrastinate on something, you may not think to yourself, I should be doing that instead of this. Then you might talk to yourself and doing it later. Meanwhile, the leisure activity, which you were supposed to be enjoying, is now consequently ruined because your mind is preoccupied with what you should be doing. That is why we do it now mentality is so powerful. It's really much easier to set up and finish tasks than it is to free from your obligations. Enjoy yourself in your favorite leisure activities. The greater equalizer among us is that in each and every day, we all have the same 24 hours to invest. Everyone, rich or poor, 24 hours, here we go. Most people don't think of their time as an investment. But once you spent today's 24 hours, you can never get them back, ever. People endlessly hang out wasting time without realizing that it is time that is never to be recaptured. I'm all for leisure and spending quality time with friends and loved ones. My main objective is towards people who are acting without purpose, or rather being inactive without purpose. If people consciously choose how they spend their time, that is fine. To maximize your use of time, survey your life. Find out what wastes your time and eliminate it so you can spend more time doing what you thoroughly enjoy. If something is unbearable to you, hire someone else to do it. Or perhaps trade responsibilities with a friend, partner, or a spouse. It all comes down to this simple message. Do more of what you like and less of what you don't. The following is an exercise to discover how to invest your time. When you finish it, the result might surprise you. Go through the results and eliminate your time wasters. Maximize doing what you love, and you'll find yourself being more efficient in the following weeks. Since you will know what tasks consume large chunks of your time, what tasks can be delegated? Number 1, for an entire week, write down what you are doing every half hour. Number 2, after the end of the week, notice how you spend most of your time and what you're doing. Number 3, ask yourself how easily you can eliminate time-wasting activities. Number 4, ask yourself what you can invest more time on in your activities that will lead you closer to your goals. And finally, schedule your next week according to what you've discovered. And as you continue to use your time ever more wisely and productively, notice that this increases your confidence. The more actions you take, the more dreams come true, the more motivated you'll feel and do and achieve even more. The proper fruit of knowledge is action. Action. Take action. Reap the full benefits of your knowledge. Stay on track with your confidence and practice a calendar. One method to stay on track as you develop your ability to be confident is a confident practicing calendar. You can take an extraordinary calendar and schedule which confident exercises you will do on a particular day. You can also set up milestones that you expect to achieve that journey towards unstoppable confidence and compare your progress against them. One day you could practice speaking confidently. The next day exercise you'll be walking confidently. The following day exercise gesturing confidently. Going through this book, pick out your favorite exercise and put them down on the calendar. Create your calendar and match your personality. You'll know what will work best for you. Positive reinforcement is a great motivator. There I recommend you that you praise yourself when you find that you're behaving confidently. Although you may not think it's a bit corny, I know I did at first, but I found that following reinforcement method really worked. And when I found myself behaving in a way I wanted and I gave myself small applause, I pat myself on the back, or a self-hug, many people deny themselves their due credit, even when they perform extraordinarily. Give yourself credit by consciously reinforcing your positive behavior. After all, who's the only person you are guaranteed to be with 24 hours a day for the rest of your life? You are, of course. Treat yourself well. Discover how your unconscious mind responds. As you treat yourself better, you'll discover how you're able to access parts of your memory that you hadn't before. You're able to visualize better. Your negative internal dialogue will disappear. Many people do not treat themselves very well. They have a nagging internal dialogue making their lives miserable. They think that people are out to get them. People are causes in their lives, not effects. Disempowered people let things happen to them. Empowered people make things. When people take complete responsibility for their own lives, they become empowered. They realize that they always have a choice. They can act out consciously decisions instead of blaming others and playing a victim role. They can realize that they always will have a choice. They can act out conscious decisions. When you're empowered and acting out of a choice, celebrate your accomplishments by rewarding yourself. Reward yourself in the same way you reward your best friend his or her accomplishments. Remind yourself that you are wonderful. Sometimes people don't celebrate their accomplishments. They stall or wait for others to do it. Or maybe they wanted permission to celebrate or what they did. I'm not giving my permission for you to celebrate all of your successes. I'm now giving you permission for you to celebrate all of your successes. Live a healthy life. Because in order to be unstoppably confident, you must lead a healthy, fulfilling life. There's 3 components that essentially to leading such a flexibility is a sense of humor and an orientation towards the future. Leading such as a life of flexibility and a sense of humor. Flexibility, if you have flexibility in life, you'll have enough choices to be able to do whatever it takes to achieve your outcome. If something does not work, you'll have a wherewithal to realize that it's not working and admit your behavior. In other words, use flexibility until you eventually get your results. The more flexible people are, the more likely they will get what they want. There is a law of cybernetics, which is the science of effective organization that states the person or component with the most choices in the system wins. Take a negotiation, for example. If someone has many options and the opposition has few, the first party has an upper hand. The fewer options you have, the less empowered you are. Maximize your empowerment by being flexible and having many options and choices as you can imagine. A sense of humor. Having a sense of humor is essential in life. It means that you won't take things too seriously or blow them out of proportion. I'm sure we all know people who take everything too seriously and end up having health problems or smoking or drinking or as an escape from their problems. The more useful way of experiencing life is maybe laughing your way through it. When times are the toughest and you are completely stressed out, the ability to laugh out loud is truly priceless. Laughing out loud will help you center you, which will lead you into a more resourceful, problem-solving state of mind. People are excessively serious and overly formal. And they tend to get ulcers and heart attacks, strokes, and other medical maladies because they choose to allow themselves to get stressed out. People who laugh a lot, they're a lot healthier and live a lot longer. Be sure to keep your sense of humor as you continue on through your life's journey. Future orientation. There are 3 different ways that we can orient ourselves with respect to time. The past, the present, the future. Each can be a useful outlook, having strong orientation for the best path of living our life's dream. The past can be useful for summoning positive resources from earlier periods in your life, for gathering and tapping into experience, for example. Some people who are heavily oriented towards the past virtually live into the bygone glory days, however, continually rehashing them through the storytelling of other reminiscence. Focusing solely on the past makes it easier for you not to take any action towards building the future. People who get overly caught up in the present orientation live entirely in the moment and fail to plan for the future, and flawed outlooks can be in a direct consequence. These people want immediate gratification without having to think about the negative effects of their decisions. A certain amount of present time orientation is to cherishing each moment of your life and allowing the spontaneity to provide that you still plan for the future. The ideal orientation is to balance the future and the present together. The ideal mental orientation from now on is to balance the future and the present together. Knowing what you want for the future, planning for it, and taking action while enjoying yourself along the way is the ultimate ideal and ideal to strive for. You're constantly living and thinking about the future while still living and enjoying yourself on the way. And by delaying instant gratification and having patience and diligence working towards your goals as you thrive in the present moment, you will still have the ideal time orientation combination. When you find the balance that works best for you, you'll know it. Life is short, and we don't know what tomorrow holds, but we can plan for a wonderful future while we make the most of today. Plan for the future while making the most of today. You can achieve your dreams when you take action and work your plan, and life goes by so quickly that we must remind ourselves to cherish each and every moment. Getting going and don't stop. With your unstoppable confidence, you're going to want to tackle the world at once. When you consider all of what you want and you can achieve in your lifetime, you might want to go out and do it all right now. You can tackle the world, of course, but you should do it in a progressive stages. You will have so many dreams and passions awakened that it might seem overwhelming. Sometimes, when people feel overwhelmed, they do nothing because they don't know where to begin. We'll avoid letting this happen to you. Consider your most important immediate goals and pursue those first. Remember to take action each and every day, no matter how much or how little things brings you closer to fulfilling your goals. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Focus on taking the next step every day. Beware, though, that if you focus on the next action as part of a larger goal, you may lose sight of what you're going after in the goal in the first place. The ideal here is to have a balance. Keep the big picture in mind, remembering what's important for you and to you about the goal and why you're even doing it, as you focus on small steps that actually get you there, taking action each and every day. Being unstoppably confident means being proactive. Decide what you want, go after it, and get it. Some people say, someday it'll happen for me. No. Or, I'm waiting for my lucky break. The problem is that those reactive people are waiting forever. Resourceful people make it happen. Luck is where preparation meets opportunity. Be prepared for relentlessly pursuing the opportunities that you'll surprise yourself at how lucky you become. Go out there and make it happen, because you are unstoppable. Appendix. Qualities to alter your experience and your beliefs. You can work on altering your experiences by focusing on the following qualities. Visual qualities is color. Is the image in color or black and white? Size. How big or small is the image? Detail. How detailed is the image? Focus. Is it clear? How clear is the image? Contrast. Do the elements of the image contrast? Brightness. How bright or dull is the image? Border. Is there a border around the image? Distance. How near or far away is the image to you? Shape. What shape is the image? Location. Where is the image located? Perspective. From which vantage point do you view the image? Dimension. Is the image flat or three-dimensional? Movement. Is the image fixed or is it a movie playing? Auditory qualities. Location. Where's the sound coming from? Tonality. What's the tonality like? Depth. Does the sound surround you? Volume. How loud or quiet is the sound? Melody. Is the sound melodic or monotonous? Duration. Is the sound continuous or intermittent? Sensory qualities. Intensity. How intense is the feeling? Location. Where do you feel the feeling? Speed. How fast does the feeling occur? Duration. Is the feeling continuous or intermittent? Quality. How would you describe the feeling? Unstoppable confidence. How to use the power of NLP. NLP to be more dynamic and successful, by Kent Sayer. If you're serious about gaining more confidence, you must get this book, Robert G. Allen, The 1 Minute Millionaire. This book will give you a boost towards success that can make all the difference. Brian Tracy, best-selling author of Maximum Achievement. Imagine having the confidence and courage to go after goals, successful careers, rewarding relationships, richer, fuller life. If you could dream it, you could do it. Using the scientific methods of neuro-linguistic programming, NLP. Through NLP, author Kent Sayer transformed himself from a plainly shy introvert into one of the nation's most dynamic NLP trainers. He's taught thousands how to break out of their shells and go after their dreams. Now, with this proven system, you too can harness the power of NLP to blast out of your comfort zone, shatter your limiting beliefs, and boost your confidence instantly. The step-by-step program for a ready-to-use tool, verbal, nonverbal techniques, and practical thinking exercises will redirect your mind towards your goals. You'll be amazed how easy it is to interact with others, embrace opportunities, and enjoy social events, activities, and work functions. Unstoppable confidence.